So let's put the finishing touches on this and make this a truly reusable package that we could call from any number of other SSIS parent packages. Now to do that, we're going to have to build in a little bit of flexibility. So here's what we want. Let's maybe come up with some wants for our child package. So to create a reusable FTP child package, here's what we have to be able to do. Pass in variable name of file to download. Now this could actually be passed in with asterisks so that we could say download all text files, download all zip files, etc. That can be handled fairly easily. It's natively built into the FTP task. If you're not quite sure how that all works, you might want to go back and watch the videos at the beginning of chapter 4 when we talked about working with the FTP task. Now another thing that we want to be able to do is if the file downloaded is a zip file or a RAR file, RAR, extract the file as well. So now, we could create two separate FTP child packages, one that handles pure text file downloads, one that handles pure zip file downloads, and then extracts them. Or if we're really clever, we'll create one package that if you pass in a zip file, it will extract it. And that's what I'm interested in. I want to create the most flexible, most reusable package that I can without having to spend days working on it because of the complexity. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do number 1 and 2 really. So to do this, okay, I have already gone behind the scenes and set this up a little bit, and I have installed FileZilla as well. And so I'm going to show you, in case you haven't seen the beauty of FileZilla, just remember the login information. There's this, and the password over here is just learn it first. And what I've done in between the last video and this video is gone and created zip files here in the chapter 6 folder. You can see that I have zipped up each individual file. Now I know this seems kind of silly. We really wouldn't zip up such small files. Generally speaking though, text files to download are large creatures and we want to compress them for downloading. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to use these zips. Now, I have also recreated our package with a new name here. So I have our parent package, our child package. At the parent, if we go and we pass in to the remote file name a text file, it downloads a text file. If we come over here, it's just FTP task set up with a package configuration, just like we did in the previous video. Okay, so if you did not watch FTP02, the previous video on setting up the FTP task with your child and parent packages, you need to go do that now. Okay, next step. Watch what will happen here if I make this a zip file. I'm at the parent. And I tell the parent, I want you to, instead of downloading a text file, download a zip file. Cool. Let's make sure that there's no zip files, and there were. So let's go do that. So let's get rid of all of that. Nothing there. Now the parent says download a zip file. So we execute the package. It then, on the call stack, goes to the child package, logs in, downloads the zip file, and there we have our zip. So now what we want to do in the child package is if you do pass in a zip file, we want to extract it. Now, how do we extract it? Okay, so we talked about doing this back also in chapter 4. I told you that one of my favorite tools was a tool called 7-zip, right? So go to your search engine of choice and type in a search for 7-zip. Okay, don't go to these little silly things like that over there. Go to 7zip.org and download it. And you want to use the command line version. And so you can actually, once you've installed it on your machine, this is, sorry, I'm hitting, by the way, Shift and Tab together to cycle through. And so 7 and automatically fills that out. So there is the command line 7Z, and you can actually use the dash question mark to get a list of the syntax and how it all works. So here's what we need to do. We need to, let me use my yellow here. We need to extract. So we're going to extract files from an archive. An archive is a zip file. And then we need to use a given directory by telling it with the O which directory we want to extract the files to. Got it? Okay. So 7-zip is an executable, right? It's you'd use it at the DOS prompt. So you bring your execute process task. This is at the child level, and we say after our FTP is completed, come down here and let's execute 7-zip. So let's go to the find the thing. So go to the program files, to the 7-zip folder, 7-zip. You know, you can do this with WinZip, WinRAR, anything that does compression. You could do it in .NET if you wanted to write the code, but seems kind of silly. Set my working directory to be the WinZip folder, sorry, the 7-zip folder, so that it can pull in the 7-zip. My arguments are E, the file name that I want to extract, which I'm just going to do it from memory. Sorry. Okay, so that is the file name that we're going to download. And then the /O, we want to extract it to the C drive. So I'll make that capital so that it pops. Okay, so what the -O that says I want to extract the results of the zip file, the contents, and put them in the root of the C drive. Okay, now it's pretty clear, I am hard coding which file that I want to download, right? Just keep that in mind. So I'm going to go to the parent, and I'm going to set my parent variable to match that particular file. We'll make it more dynamic. Just get it built with hard-coded first. Make sure that works. Easier to do that, and then add your complexity to it later on. And execute your parent package. Let's just make sure I've deleted everything at the C. I hadn't. So execute the parent. Make sure you don't just execute the child, because that would not do exactly what we needed to. Okay. Now, did you see that screen flash for just a second? One of the properties of the execute process task is what you want the window to do. A normal window will flash up on the screen and you can see the progress of it. Generally speaking, that's acceptable. You can, though, say you want it hidden so that it doesn't flash your screen like that. Say OK. And by the way, when we go over here to the C, you can see that it did the download and then it extracted it. Okay, now the final two pieces here. One, we need to make this part dynamic. So in the execute process task, remember that this is hard-coded. We need to make that dynamic. How do we make it dynamic? Okay, easy enough. We need to make a variable, right? So let's make this a variable here. So we come over here to our expressions of the FTP, or the execute process task, and we need to change our arguments. And the expression we need to use, we could say E, put it in here, E, which is the extract, and now you need to bring in your variable here.